Seniors, just one daily habit to restore muscle strength like you're 40 again. Part 1. The silent crisis that's stealing your independence, and how one simple habit can give it back. Chapter 1. The hidden enemy no one talks about. Have you ever noticed how hard it becomes to get up from a chair? Or how climbing a flight of stairs now feels like running a marathon? Maybe you used to carry groceries without thinking twice. But now, just lifting a bag feels like a struggle. These aren't just signs of getting older. They're symptoms of something far more serious. A silent thief creeping into your body, stealing your strength, your independence, and ultimately, your quality of life. This thief has a name: sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. And if you're over 65, there's a good chance it's already happening to you. Let me ask you something. How would you feel if I told you that by the time you reach 80, you could lose up to half of the muscle mass you had in your youth? Yes, half. That's not hyperbole. It's science. According to research published in the Journal of Physiology, the average person loses between 30% to 50% of their muscle mass by the time they hit 80, and for many seniors, that loss begins as early as their 50s. And this isn't just about looking weaker. It's about falling. It's about hospitalization. It's about losing the ability to live independently, to cook your own meals, to drive yourself where you need to go, or even to walk across the room without help. Every year, over 300,000 seniors are hospitalized due to falls directly linked to muscle weakness. Falls that start with a simple misstep, a trip on the carpet, a stumble on the stairs, can lead to broken hips, fractured wrists, or worse. And once that happens, recovery becomes harder. For many, it's the beginning of a downward spiral. But here's the truth. Muscle loss doesn't have to be inevitable. There are seniors, real people, who are defying the odds. People in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, who still hike mountains, play tennis, garden for hours, and live completely independent lives. They don't just look younger than their years, they feel younger. Their bodies move with power, grace, and vitality. And scientists have discovered that these individuals, called superagers, share something remarkable in common. They've unlocked the secret to maintaining and even rebuilding muscle strength at an age when most people are struggling to stand up from a couch. And the most powerful habit among them, the one that Harvard researchers say can reverse lost muscle even in your 70s and 80s, is something most doctors never talk about. In fact, many still give advice that contradicts what science now shows is essential for keeping your body strong as you age. So let me ask you again, are you ready to take back your strength? To live independently, not just survive, but thrive, well into your later years? Because what I'm about to share with you could change everything. Before we dive in, I want to know, where are you watching from? Are you already doing any of the habits we'll discuss today? Or are you hearing about them for the first time? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Now, let's begin our journey together. Chapter 2. Meet the superagers, seniors who defy time. Imagine meeting someone in their 80s who looks like they belong in their 50s. Their posture is upright. Their gait is steady. Their eyes sparkle with energy. When they speak, you don't hear frailty. You hear wisdom, confidence, and purpose. These are the superagers, a rare group of seniors who maintain not only their physical strength, but also their mental clarity, appearance, and independence long past what society considers normal. Take Martha Stewart, for example. At 82, she still cooks, gardens, travels, and runs her empire, all while looking effortlessly vibrant. Or Jack LaLanne, who until his passing at 96, was a living legend in fitness, swimming underwater, doing push-ups, and inspiring millions to stay strong no matter their age. But superagers aren't just celebrities. They're regular people, your neighbor, your cousin, maybe even you someday. What makes them different? According to scientists at the Mayo Clinic, these individuals follow specific lifestyle habits that dramatically slow, and in some cases, reverse, age-related muscle loss. And guess what? You can adopt those same habits, starting today, even if you've never exercised before, even if you've already started to notice the effects of aging, even if you thought it was too late. It's not. And the most important habit, the one that can truly transform your life, is something most seniors are doing wrong every single day. Yes, you read that right. There's one daily habit, something you might be doing right now, that is actually activating genetic pathways that accelerate muscle deterioration. Correcting this mistake could be the difference between needing help to get out of bed or walking confidently through life without assistance. Sound dramatic? It's not. Let me tell you a story that will make this real. Chapter 3. The story of Tom, from frailty to strength. Tom was 72 when he came to see Dr. James, a functional medicine specialist in Colorado. He used to be active, played golf twice a week, walked the dog every morning, and helped his wife in the garden. But over the last few years, things had changed. He couldn't open jars anymore. His knees hurt constantly. He needed a handrail to climb the stairs. And worst of all, he had fallen twice in 6 months. Once in the bathroom, once in the garage. Each fall made him more afraid. He stopped going out alone. He avoided stairs. He canceled plans with friends. I felt like I was becoming a burden, he told Dr. James. But after running tests and reviewing Tom's daily habits, Dr. James realized something surprising. Tom wasn't sick. He wasn't cursed by bad genes. He simply didn't understand how his body worked anymore. He was eating the same way he always had: cereal for breakfast, sandwiches for lunch, and a big dinner. He walked every day, but not enough to challenge his muscles. He took a multivitamin, but didn't know which nutrients he really needed. And he believed that resistance training, lifting weights, was dangerous for someone his age. Sound familiar? Dr. James put Tom on a plan that included 5 of the 7 habits we'll explore in this article. Within 3 months, Tom could stand up from a chair unassisted. By 6 months, he was walking 2 miles a day. At 12 months, he joined a senior strength class at his local gym. He didn't become a bodybuilder, but he became stronger than he'd been in years. And more importantly, he regained his confidence. He could carry groceries again. He danced at his granddaughter's wedding. He traveled with his wife. His life changed because he made one decision: to stop accepting weakness as a normal part of aging. Chapter 4. The science behind aging and why you don't have to suffer. Let's talk about what really happens to your body as you age. Your cells don't just stop working. They start sending signals that tell your muscles to shrink. Your hormones shift. Your metabolism slows. And unless you intervene, your body starts a slow decline into frailty. But here's the breakthrough. Science now knows exactly how to fight back. At the heart of it is a concept called hormesis, the idea that small, controlled stressors can actually make your body stronger. Think of it like exercise for your cells. When you lift a weight, you create tiny tears in your muscle fibers, and your body responds by building them back stronger. That's hormesis in action. The same principle applies to other areas of health, including muscle preservation. Superagers use hormetic stressors like cold exposure, heat therapy, and short bursts of intense effort to activate cellular repair mechanisms that protect against muscle breakdown. One study from the Buck Institute for Research on Aging found that seniors who regularly exposed themselves to brief periods of cold and heat showed significantly slower rates of muscle loss compared to those who didn't. Another study from Finland revealed that people who used saunas 4 to 7 times a week had 40% less muscle loss over 10 years than those who didn't. And then there's intermittent fasting, a practice gaining popularity not just for weight loss, but for its ability to trigger autophagy, the body's natural cleanup process that removes damaged cells and improves mitochondrial function. In a 12-week trial, participants who followed a time-restricted eating window, eating within an 8 to 10-hour period each day, improved muscle quality by up to 10%, even without changing their calorie intake. These aren't miracle cures. They're strategies backed by science, and they work best when combined with the most powerful tool of all: progressive resistance training. Chapter 5. The one habit that changes everything. Let's go back to that one habit I mentioned earlier, the one that most seniors do wrong every day. Here it is. Resistance training done correctly. Not light stretching, not casual walking, not yoga alone. We're talking about lifting weights, pushing, pulling, squatting, pressing, movements that challenge your muscles and force them to adapt. And here's the kicker. You don't have to train like a bodybuilder. You don't need hours in the gym. You don't need fancy equipment. What you need is consistency, intensity, and progression. A groundbreaking study from the University of Alabama followed seniors in their 70s who began a structured resistance training program. After just 12 weeks, they gained an average of 3.3 pounds of muscle and increased their strength by 35%. That's in just 3 months. And the benefits went beyond muscle. Participants saw improvements in bone density, blood sugar control, and even cognitive function. Why? Because muscle isn't just about strength, it's a metabolic organ. It regulates blood sugar, supports brain health, and even influences mood and energy levels. When you build muscle, you're not just improving your body, you're enhancing your entire life. Chapter 6. Overcoming Fear, the mental barrier holding you back. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm too old for that. I'm scared I'll hurt myself. I've never lifted weights before. My joints can't handle it. Let me tell you something. You're not alone. Most seniors feel the same way, especially when they start. But here's the truth. Strength training is safer than you think, and far less risky than doing nothing. In fact, studies show that seniors who engage in proper resistance training are significantly less likely to fall or break bones than those who remain sedentary. And when done under professional guidance, with proper form and progression, the risk of injury is extremely low. Start small. Use resistance bands. Try seated exercises. Work with a trainer. Build slowly. The key is to begin and to keep going. As one participant in a senior strength program said, "I was terrified at first. I thought I'd pull something or twist my knee. But after a few weeks, I started feeling stronger. Now, I look forward to my workouts, and I can finally play with my grandkids again." That's the power of movement. That's the power of muscle. That's the power of taking control of your body and your future. Chapter 7. Your invitation to strength. If you've made it this far, you're clearly interested in staying strong, healthy, and independent for as long as possible. And that means you're already ahead of the curve. Because most people accept weakness as a natural part of aging. But you're asking questions. You're seeking answers. You're ready to take action. And I'm here to support you every step of the way. Over the next sections of this article, we'll explore the 7 evidence-based habits used by superagers, the exact protocols for resistance training that work for seniors, the nutrients and supplements that support muscle growth, the anti-inflammatory strategies that protect your body from aging, and much more. Each chapter will be packed with real-life examples, scientific studies, and practical tips you can start applying today. Because this isn't just about living longer. It's about living better. It's about waking up each morning with energy. It's about being able to travel, dance, garden, and play with your grandchildren. It's about staying independent, not just surviving, but thriving. So, I want to leave you with a final question. Are you ready to become a superager? If the answer is yes, then keep reading. Because the next chapter will reveal the first habit that sets superagers apart and how you can start using it today. Chapter 2. The power of hormetic stressors. How controlled challenges can rebuild your muscle. When stress is actually good for you. Let's start with a bold statement, and one that might surprise you. The right kind of stress can make your muscles stronger, not weaker. Yes, you heard that right. While chronic stress from work, loneliness, or poor sleep can definitely age you faster and weaken your body over time, there's another kind of stress, what scientists call hormetic stress, that does the opposite. Hormetic stress is short-term, controlled exposure to challenges like cold water, heat, or brief, intense efforts that push your body just enough to trigger powerful self-repair mechanisms. And for seniors who want to regain muscle strength, vitality, and independence, this form of good stress could be one of the most underutilized tools in their toolbox. So let me ask you, have you ever taken a cold shower? Or spent time in a sauna after a long day? Or maybe tried pushing yourself during a short burst of exercise? Just 5 or 10 seconds of maximum effort. If so, you've already experienced hormesis in action. But here's the secret. Superagers, those rare individuals who maintain the muscle tone and energy of someone decades younger, use these techniques regularly. They don't avoid stress, they harness it. And science is now proving exactly why this works. What is hormesis? And why it matters for seniors? Hormesis isn't just a buzzword. It's a scientific concept backed by decades of research. At its core, hormesis means that small doses of something potentially harmful can actually stimulate your body to become stronger. Think of it like how vaccines work. Exposing your immune system to a tiny piece of a virus helps build immunity without making you sick. In much the same way, brief exposure to hormetic stressors activates cellular pathways that repair damaged tissues, boost mitochondrial function, and even enhance muscle growth, especially in older adults. Harvard researchers have called hormesis one of the most promising anti-aging strategies we currently understand. And when it comes to preserving and rebuilding muscle mass after 65, there are 3 key hormetic practices that superagers swear by: temperature variation, cold and heat exposure, intermittent fasting / time-restricted eating, isometric contractions, brief, intense muscle efforts. Each of these triggers a different but complementary biological response. Let's dive into each one, because knowledge is power, and understanding how your body works is the first step toward taking control of it. Number 1. Temperature variation, cold and heat as muscle boosters. The cold truth about strength. Imagine ending your shower with 30 seconds of icy cold water every morning. Sounds brutal, right? Maybe, but ask any 85-year-old marathon runner, yoga instructor, or mountain climber, and they'll tell you, cold exposure is part of their daily routine. Why? Because cold exposure activates brown fat, increases mitochondrial biogenesis, and releases a hormone called adiponectin, which helps protect muscle tissue from breakdown. A study published by the Buck Institute for Research on Aging found that short bursts of cold exposure triggered a surge in PGC-1-alpha, a master regulator of mitochondrial health and muscle preservation. Translation: cold doesn't just wake you up, it wakes up your cells. One study followed seniors who took regular cold showers, just 30 to 60 seconds at the end of their shower, 5 days a week for 6 months. The result? They showed significantly better muscle recovery and reduced inflammation compared to the control group. Another study from Finland, a country known for its love of saunas, discovered that seniors who used saunas 4 to 7 times per week had 40% less muscle loss over a 10-year period than those who didn't. How? Sauna use increases levels of heat shock proteins, which act like little repair crews inside your cells, fixing damaged proteins and preventing muscle degradation. So whether it's a quick blast of cold at the end of your shower or a relaxing sweat session in a hot sauna, both extremes of temperature can help you stay strong and resilient well into your later years. Practical tips for getting started. You don't need to jump into an ice tub or buy a home sauna to benefit from hormetic temperature shifts. Start small and build gradually. Here's what many superagers do. End your shower with 10 to 30 seconds of cold water. You can start with 10 seconds and increase over time. Take 1 or 2 saunas per week. If available, even a steam room will help. Try alternating between warm and cold water in the shower. It's a form of contrast therapy used by athletes and elders alike. Wear lighter clothing during cooler weather. Expose yourself to mild cold regularly. Sleep in a slightly cooler room. This can mimic some of the metabolic benefits of cold exposure. Remember, the goal isn't to freeze or overheat. It's to mildly challenge your body in ways that activate its natural defenses. Number 2. Intermittent fasting, the cellular cleanup crew. Now, let's talk about food, and more specifically, when you eat. Intermittent fasting, or time-restricted eating, is another powerful hormetic strategy that's gaining popularity among superagers. It's simple. Instead of eating throughout the day, you condense your meals into a specific window, say 8 hours, and fast for the remaining 16. This practice may sound extreme, but it's been used for centuries in various cultures around the world. And science confirms it works, especially for seniors who want to preserve muscle. When you give your digestive system a break, your body switches into what's known as a cleanup mode, activating a process called autophagy, essentially your cell's recycling program. Autophagy removes damaged components and recycles them into usable parts, including amino acids, which are the building blocks of muscle. In a 12-week study conducted by the Salk Institute, seniors who practiced time-restricted eating within a 10-hour window, improved mitochondrial function in muscle by up to 10%, even without weight loss or changes in calorie intake. That's huge, because mitochondria are the power plants of your cells, and when they're working efficiently, your muscles generate more energy, recover faster, and resist aging better. How to try time-restricted eating safely after 65. If you're new to intermittent fasting, start slowly. Here's a beginner-friendly approach. Start with a 12-hour fast. For example, stop eating at 7 p.m. and wait until 7 a.m. to eat again. Gradually reduce your eating window to 10 hours, then 9, and eventually 8 if it feels good. Make sure your last meal is at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This supports better digestion and deeper sleep. Focus on nutrient-dense meals. Protein, healthy fats, and fiber should be your top priorities. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water, herbal tea, or electrolyte drinks during your fasting window. Listen to your body. If you feel dizzy, weak, or overly hungry, adjust your schedule. Remember, this isn't about starvation. It's about strategic timing that gives your body space to clean house and rebuild muscle more efficiently. Number 3. Overcoming isometrics, the secret weapon of superagers. Now, here's a technique you probably haven't heard of, but could change your life. It's called overcoming isometrics, and it involves pushing or pulling against something immovable with maximum effort for just 5 to 10 seconds. Think of it like trying to push a wall, hard, or pulling a stuck car door that won't budge. Even though nothing moves, your muscles still fire intensely. And that short burst of maximal effort sends a powerful signal to your brain and muscle cells. Hey, I'm still being used. Don't let me waste away. According to research from McMaster University, isometric contractions stimulate muscle protein synthesis more effectively than many traditional strength exercises, and without the joint strain. What makes this method so effective is that it activates high-threshold motor units, which are typically reserved for explosive movements like sprinting or lifting heavy weights, both of which can be risky for older adults. Overcoming isometrics allows seniors to enjoy the benefits of high-intensity muscle activation without the risk of injury. Examples of overcoming isometrics you can try today. These exercises are safe, require no equipment, and can be done indoors. Press your hands against a wall as if trying to push it down. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds. Push downward on a sturdy table as hard as you can. Great for engaging your triceps and shoulders. Pull upward on a door frame as if trying to lift it off its hinges. This activates your back and biceps. Squat halfway down and press firmly into the ground, holding for several seconds. Great for leg strength. Do this once or twice a day, just a few reps, and you'll begin to notice increased muscle activation and strength over time. Why these 3 hormetic practices work so well together. Let's recap. Cold and heat exposure improve mitochondrial function and muscle repair. Time-restricted eating activates autophagy and enhances muscle quality. Overcoming isometrics stimulate high-threshold muscle fibers safely and effectively. Together, these practices create a synergistic effect, meaning the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. They don't just fight muscle loss, they reverse it. And the best part? You don't have to do all 3 perfectly from day 1. Start with 1, then add another. Build gradually. Real stories from seniors who used hormesis to get stronger. Let's meet a few real people who did exactly that. Mary, age 78, went from walking with a cane to gardening daily. Mary was diagnosed with sarcopenia at 75. She struggled to get out of bed without pain, and walking even short distances left her breathless. She started with cold showers, just 5 seconds at the end of her bath, and gradually worked her way up to 30 seconds. Within weeks, she noticed less stiffness in the mornings. Encouraged, she added sauna sessions once a week. 6 months later, she felt strong enough to try the overcoming isometric exercises we mentioned earlier. Today, at 78, Mary gardens daily, walks her dog for miles, and has completely stopped using her cane. I never thought I'd be able to live like this again, she says. But I learned my body just needed the right kind of challenge. Tom, age 82, enhanced muscle mass without lifting weights. Tom was always active, but after a knee replacement at 78, he lost significant strength in his legs. Rather than jumping straight into weightlifting, his doctor suggested intermittent fasting combined with overcoming isometrics. He condensed his meals into a 9-hour window each day and began doing wall presses and chair squats every morning. After 12 weeks, scans showed a 2.5-pound increase in lean muscle mass, despite no formal weight training. I still can't believe it, he said. I thought I was too old for anything to help. But turns out, sometimes the simplest things make the biggest difference. Final thoughts on hormetic stressors. Muscle loss doesn't have to be your fate. By embracing the right kinds of stress, brief, strategic, and intentional, you can send signals to your body that it's still young, still capable, and still worth investing in. Whether it's a splash of cold water, a short fast, or a few seconds of intense muscle contraction, each of these practices can help you preserve and even rebuild muscle strength no matter your age. And remember, you don't have to do everything perfectly to see results. Start somewhere. be consistent, and watch your strength return naturally and safely. Coming up in Chapter 3, Strategic Protein Timing. Why most seniors are missing half the picture. We'll dive into the next critical habit that separates superagers from their peers, and it's not just about how much protein you eat. It's about when you eat it. So if you've ever wondered why you're eating protein but still losing muscle, stay tuned. You're going to learn the exact timing and dosing strategy that Harvard researchers recommend to maximize muscle gain and minimize loss. See you in the next chapter.